you remember Margaret Ferrier? She was an SNP MP, and back in September 2020, of course, pandemic restrictions, she tested positive for COVID and proceeded to not isolate, but get on a train from London, where she was working as an MP, back to Glasgow. This is Margaret Ferrier there. She also had lunch, went to church, despite having COVID symptoms. Now, she was actually convicted in court of recklessly exposing the public to the virus and given community service, and the SNP withdrew the whip from her, so she is now an independent. Now, interesting development, she's been investigated also by the Standards Commissioner in the Commons, and a recommendation has that commissioner asks a committee of MPs to look at his investigation and recommend a sanction, and that today we've got a sanction recommended of 30 days. Now, if that goes ahead, that's a pretty tough sanction. It means that there could be a by-election in her constituency of Rutherglen and West Hamilton, and that is a seat that Labour held only 5 years ago. So potentially a difficult by-election for the SNP just after having their new First Minister. It's also very notable that on the committee of MPs, it's 7 MPs and 7 lay members, they were asked to vote on whether to impose this 30-day sanction, and the Conservative members did not want to vote for it. The 4 Conservatives, who incidentally are also the same 4 who questioned Boris Johnson the other day at the Privileges Committee. So the first time ever the Standards Committee was split. We'll try and find out more about why that split happened, but the majority of the Standards Committee recommended a 30-day suspension. MPs will then have to vote on that, but opens up the possibility of a potentially very interesting by-election in that Scottish seat in a few months' time.
She's already been disciplined by the police, hasn't she?
She has. She got 270 hours of community service in a court in Glasgow last year, and this investigation started just after that finished. Now, of course, she can't stand for the SNP at the next election because the whip has been withdrawn, but of course she may appeal this because there's probably going to be 18 months until the next election, so she may try and stay in place.
It seems like a very large sanction, 30 days.
It is a tough sanction, but of course she has committed a crime and been convicted in court, although she didn't get a prison sentence. And Nicola Sturgeon, who was then the leader of the SNP, said at the time that this happened that she should resign, she should go immediately. So she has defied Nicola Sturgeon in staying on this long, staying on through court proceedings. But now it seems that her MP colleagues have given her a tough enough sanction. She may have to fight a by-election. It may well be that at that stage she says, well, I'm not going to, because she can't, of course, be the SNP candidate, and she may just then choose to give up.